Today, we're doing more than just talking about paying off student debt. We are literally unlocking the playbook to break free from it for good and start building real, lasting financial freedom.
You know, for millions of people, this isn't just a number on a piece of paper. The weight of student loans, it can feel like a life sentence. It dictates where you can live, what job you can take, and really when you can actually start living the life you imagined.
Okay, so before we can break these chains, we have to really understand the trap itself, and it is a powerful one. It's got two main jaws. First, there's the housing squeeze that gets recent grads, and then there's the professional debt mountain that even the highest earners can't seem to escape.
So let's meet Rachel. She called into the Ramsey Show with a problem that is just so incredibly common. She graduates, she does everything you're supposed to do, gets a job, finds her own place, and bam, she finds herself in this impossible financial vice. So check out this math. It's pretty brutal. She's making around $40,000 a year. That rent check for $1,450 was eating up so much of her paycheck that there was basically nothing left for her $22,000 student loan. She went from throwing $1,000 a month at her loans to pretty much zero, just like that.
And that right there, that's the rent trap. It's this vicious cycle where the cost of just having a roof over your head makes it impossible to make any real financial progress. You're working your tail off, but you feel like you're just stuck on a treadmill.
Now you might be thinking, okay, a bigger salary solves all this, right? Well, not exactly. The trap just gets bigger. And that brings us to the story of Dr. Cellini. He's an interventional radiologist.
So after a decade of insane training and sacrifice, doctors are looking at an average debt of over $240,000. And get this, the really wild part is that data shows it takes the average doctor 13 years after they finally start earning a real salary to pay it all off.
See, this isn't just about the numbers, it's psychology. Dr. Cellini calls it delayed gratification. You spend your 20s living on, ramen noodles, and then that first huge paycheck hits. That urge to finally buy the nice car or the big house, what we call lifestyle inflation, it's overwhelming, and it can keep you chained to that debt for years and years.
So, that's the trap. Now it's time for Act 2, knowing the rules of money. See, to win this game, you have to understand that the system is literally designed to keep you paying for as long as possible. And its most powerful weapon against you, it's called front-loaded interest.
Let me break this down for you. In the early years of your loan, your payments are mostly just feeding the interest. In year one, nearly half of every single dollar you send in goes straight into the lender's pocket. But by year 10, almost all of it is finally chipping away at what you actually borrowed. The system is set up to get its money first. And that's why this next part is maybe the most important mindset shift you can make. Accountant Nisha explains it like this. Most people get paid, they pay their bills and buy stuff, and then maybe they save whatever is left over. But wealthy people do the exact opposite. They get paid and they pay themselves first, at least 10%. They treat their savings like it's the most important bill they have. And that guarantees you're building your own future before anyone else's. Okay, so you know the trap, you know the rules of the game. Now it's time for Act 3, the hacks and the hustle. We're going to start with Part 1, your strategic financial defense. These are the tools that let you use the system's own rules against it. First up, income-driven repayment, or IDR. For anyone whose debt just feels totally crushing compared to their income, this thing can be an absolute lifeline. For Dr. Cellini, this was the tool that took his potential payment from over $1,600 a month down to a manageable $150.
Now, if you combine that IDR plan with something called Public Service Loan Forgiveness, or PSLF, well, that's where the magic really happens. For anybody working in public service, we're talking doctors and nonprofit hospitals, teachers, government employees, this program is an absolute game changer.
So how does it work? It's pretty specific. You work for a qualifying employer, and you make 120 on-time payments. That's 10 years. Yeah, it requires discipline, you have to do some paperwork every year, but the payoff is just monumental. We're talking tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, completely wiped out, gone, tax-free.
Look, playing defense with things like PSLF, that's how you survive. But if you want to win, if you want to actually build wealth, you have to go on offense. And that brings us to Part 2 of our strategy, the 5 a.m. power move. This is the hustle part, and it all starts while everybody else is still hitting that snooze button. And this brings us to the story of Thomas, a night security guard who felt completely stuck. He was working hard but just felt like he was going nowhere.
A successful businessman gave him this one piece of advice, and it changed everything. He said, "Those early morning hours, that's when you build your foundation."
Now, this is super important. Notice what Thomas didn't do. He didn't just go get another low-wage side hustle, like driving for a rideshare. No. Instead, he used his first hour, from 5 to 6 a.m., to build high-value skills. He used free resources online and taught himself Excel and accounting, skills that are always, always in demand.
And this gets to the most fundamental rule of building wealth. Think about it. You can only cut your expenses so much. Saving has a ceiling. But your ability to earn, there is no cap on that. It has infinite upside. Building a skill is an investment in yourself that pays dividends for the rest of your life.
And that's the perfect lead into our final act here, the new reality. Because Thomas's story shows us that building skills and wealth, they're not just one-time fixes. They are daily practices that literally forge a new identity for you.
So he set himself a 90-day challenge. And let me tell you, the first week, it was hell. His body hated him. But by day 21, it just felt normal. And by day 90, it wasn't something he did, it was who he was. And the result? Because of that consistency, in just 87 days, he used those skills he built before dawn to land a job in the accounting department for double his old salary.
And this became his mantra, his core belief. That 5 a.m. wake-up call wasn't just some temporary strategy to get a promotion, it became the bedrock of his new life. It was his time to build, to learn, and to grow, long after you had already made it.
So when you boil it all down, this isn't really about talent or luck, is it? It's not about being a genius. The gap between where you are right now and where you want to be, it's defined by how you use the time that nobody else is using. Your future is waiting for you on the other side of that alarm clock. So the only question is, what will you build tomorrow?